You know what? I thought I had seen everything in my 40 cycles as a Galactic Council security analyst. Wars between species who breathe methane and those who prefer sulfur dioxide. Trade disputes over who gets to mine the prettiest asteroids. Even that infamous incident where the Bloraxians declared war because someone mistranslated their greeting as a mating ritual. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for the day humanity joined our little cosmic club. My name is Vex9, though my colleagues call me Paranoid Vex behind my back, not because I am paranoid, mind you, but because I have this annoying habit of being right about threats before they become threats. It is a gift, really. A very unappreciated gift. The morning started like any other aboard Station Harmony 7. I was reviewing security protocols, sipping my morning dose of liquid nitrogen, when the alert chimed. New species application. Standard procedure. Fill out forms, conduct interviews, assess threat levels, file reports that nobody reads until something explodes. Another bunch of primitives wanting to play with the big kids, muttered my partner, Kix3. She has this delightful habit of dismissing every new species as harmless fluff balls or overgrown bacteria. Her record for accurate threat assessment is about as good as a blind Zephyrian trying to paint. I pulled up the files. Humans, I read aloud, carbon-based bipeds from a planet called Earth. They have mastered nuclear fusion, developed faster than light travel, and oh what? Kix3 did not even look up from her morning puzzle cube. They list their primary exports as cultural entertainment, agricultural products, and creative solutions to impossible problems. I paused, feeling that familiar tingle at the base of my neck tentacles. Their threat assessment rating is classified. That got her attention. Classified? By whom? The evaluation team that visited their homeworld 6 months ago. I scrolled through the records. Team leader was Commander Thex Prime. You know, the one who single-handedly negotiated peace with the Razor clans? What did he classify them as? I found the file. Opened it. Stared at it for a long moment. Walking weapons? I said quietly. Kix3 laughed. Actually laughed. Walking weapons? These little pink creatures who have not even figured out how to grow extra limbs. Thex Prime must be getting soft in his old age, but I was not laughing. I was reading deeper into the report, the parts that made my exoskeleton itch with worry. Subject observed lifting a ground transport vehicle with bare appendages when child became trapped underneath. Transport weighed approximately 2 tons. Subject demonstrated ability to remain conscious and functional after exposure to temperatures that would liquefy most known species. Its subject consumed ethanol-based toxin for recreational purposes, showed no ill effects, then proceeded to engage in complex mathematical calculations while intoxicated. Most concerning observation, the report continued, subjects appear to possess an innate ability to weaponize anything within reach. One individual, when asked to demonstrate their species' problem-solving abilities, turned a food preparation utensil, 2 connecting wires, and a small power source into a device capable of breaching our shuttle's defensive barriers. They apologized for the inconvenience. Kix3, I said slowly. I think we might have a problem. She was still chuckling. Oh, come on, Vex. What are they going to do? Bore us to death with their primitive customs. The communication panel crackled to life. Security team to docking bay 7. The human delegation has arrived for processing. I felt my stomach acids churn. Right, let us go meet our new walking weapons. Docking bay 7 was buzzing with activity. The human ship, a sleek silver thing they called the Peacekeeper, sat gleaming under the station lights. Not particularly impressive by our standards, but there was something about its design that made me nervous. Too clean. Too simple. Like they had figured out how to hide very big teeth behind a very small smile. The airlock cycled open, and they emerged. 5 humans. 2 males, 3 females, if my research was correct. They wore simple blue and white uniforms with small patches depicting their planet. No visible weapons, no armor, no threatening displays. They looked ordinary. The lead female stepped forward, She was tall for their species, with short brown hair and these startling green eyes that seemed to catalog everything they saw. Her name tag read Captain Luna Martinez. "Greetings," she said in perfectly accented Galactic Standard. "Thank you for hosting us during the evaluation period. We are honored to be considered for council membership." Polite. Professional. Completely unthreatening. So why did I feel like I was standing in front of a predator? "Welcome to Station Harmony 7, HFY replied, stepping forward with her official greeting smile. "I am HFY, and this is my colleague Vex 9. We will be conducting your security evaluation." Captain Martinez nodded. "Of course, we understand the process is quite thorough." Something flickered behind those green eyes, just for a moment, like a shark recognizing prey. "Naturally," she said. "We have prepared extensively for these evaluations." Another, a female named Engineering Officer Zara Okafor, was chatting pleasantly with one of our dock workers about the station's artificial gravity system. It's just friendly conversation. Except she was asking very specific questions about power distribution and backup systems. "Perhaps we could begin with the medical examinations?" Captain Martinez suggested. "We understand you need to ensure we pose no biological threat to station personnel." "Certainly," HFY agreed. "Medical Bay 3 is prepared for your species requirements," except they were memorizing everything. Every turn, every access panel, every security checkpoint. They were building a complete mental map of our most secure facility, and they were doing it while making small talk about the weather. Dr. Webb struck up a conversation with me about comparative biology. Fascinating stuff, really. He was genuinely curious about the different evolutionary paths various species had taken. But somehow, every question he asked revealed critical information about our physiology, our weaknesses, our defensive capabilities. "Remarkable how diverse life can be," he mused as we passed a group of crystalline maintenance workers. "Your species' mineral-based biology must make you incredibly durable, yes? I imagine it would take tremendous force to cause structural damage." "Oh yes," I replied automatically. "Our silicon carbide exoskeletons can withstand pressures that would crush most organic species." "How wonderful. And I suppose that makes you somewhat vulnerable to sonic disruption." "The resonance frequencies must be quite specific." I stopped walking. "How did you know that?" Dr. Webb smiled. It was a perfectly innocent smile, just a guess based on basic physics. "Rigid structures always have harmonic vulnerabilities. Nothing to worry about, of course. We humans are far too fragile to generate the kind of focused sound waves that would affect your species." But as he said it, I noticed Engineering Officer Okafor glance back at us. She had been examining what she claimed was interesting artwork on the wall. Artwork that happened to be positioned directly over the station's primary acoustic dampening system. My paranoia was working overtime, but I could not shake the feeling that these harmless humans were conducting the most thorough intelligence-gathering operation I had ever witnessed. And they were doing it while being completely, disarmingly polite about it. We reached the medical bay, and the humans submitted to every scan and test with cheerful cooperation. Blood samples, tissue analysis, neural mapping, genetic sequencing, standard procedure for any new species. The results were disturbing. "Their muscle density is off the charts," reported Dr. Clicks, our chief medical officer. "This Captain Martinez woman? She is carrying approximately 40% more muscle mass than should be possible for her bone structure. Genetic modification?" I asked. "No. This appears to be natural human baseline. And their bone density." Dr. Clicks paused, checking his readings again. "I am reading calcium phosphate structures that are nearly as strong as tempered steel. That is impossible." I ran the tests 3 times. "And their nervous system?" Another pause. "Their reaction times are faster than anything we have on record. Their brain activity suggests they are processing sensory information at nearly superhuman levels." I felt that familiar dread creeping up my spine. Fine superhuman. "They are simultaneously monitoring 17 different conversations in this medical bay, tracking the movement patterns of 43 individuals, and analyzing the chemical composition of our air mixture, and Dr. Clicks looked at his scanner in confusion. Captain Martinez appears to be calculating the structural load limits of the medical bay ceiling while we speak. Through the observation window, I watched Captain Martinez chat pleasantly with her team while Dr. Clicks's assistants took their measurements. She looked completely relaxed, even bored. She was also, I realized. Dr. Clicks, I said quietly, in your professional opinion, exactly how dangerous are these humans? He looked at his readings one more time. And Vex 9. Any one of these individuals could probably tear through a squad of armed security personnel with their bare hands. And that is assuming they do not have access to tools. Tools? Remember the report about weaponizing food preparation utensils? I am starting to think that was not an exaggeration. I was about to respond when alarms started blaring throughout the medical bay. Security alert. Came the announcement, unauthorized access detected in Section C7. All personnel maintain current positions. Captain Martinez looked up from her casual conversation. Is everything all right? Just a routine security matter, Kix 3 assured her. Probably someone took a wrong turn, but I was watching the humans' faces. They were not concerned. They were not confused. They were satisfied. Like they had been expecting this. Captain Martinez, I said carefully, where exactly are the rest of your crew members? She smiled that same polite, innocent smile. The rest of our crew. They are aboard our ship, of course, maintaining standard operational readiness. All of them? All of them. The alarms kept blaring. Section C7 was nowhere near the docking bay. It was deep in the station's secure areas, near the main computer core. Kix 3, I said, trying to keep my voice level. Perhaps we should check on that security situation. But before she could respond, the lights went out. Emergency power kicked in a moment later, bathing everything in red light. And in that brief moment of darkness, I heard something that made my exoskeleton feel like ice. Captain Martinez was laughing, not maliciously, not threateningly. She was laughing like someone who had just heard a particularly clever joke. Oh, she said cheerfully as the lights came back up. I think you are about to meet the rest of our crew. The medical bay doors slid open with a soft hiss, and in walked Trouble wearing a maintenance uniform. She was human, obviously. Petite, with bright red hair tied back in a practical ponytail, and coveralls that had station maintenance, temporary assignment printed across the back. Her name tag read Riley Thompson, Systems Specialist. Sorry to interrupt, folks, she said with a cheerful wave. Just need to check the atmospheric recycling unit in here. Routine maintenance, you know how it is. Kix 3 stared at her. You are human. Guilty as charged. Riley grinned, pulling out what looked like a perfectly normal diagnostic scanner. Hope you do not mind me poking around while you finish up with the medical stuff. I promise I will be quiet as a mouse, but you are supposed to be confined to the docking bay during evaluation, I protested. Captain Martinez tilted her head. Oh, Riley is not part of our diplomatic delegation. She is just here on a work assignment. Completely separate matter. What work assignment? Riley looked up from her scanner, which was now making soft beeping sounds near the wall panel. Station Harmony 7 put out a maintenance contract 3 weeks ago. Something about upgrading your environmental systems? My company sent me over to handle the installation. I felt my world tilting sideways. 3 weeks ago? Yep, been working nights mostly, so I have not gotten to meet many folks. Lovely station you have here, by the way. Very accessible design. The way she said accessible made my stomach acids gurgle. Kix 3, I said slowly. Did we put out any maintenance contracts? I would have to check the administrative files. Riley's scanner beeped triumphantly. Found the problem. Looks like someone installed a feedback loop in your atmospheric processors. Very subtle work. But it has been causing tiny pressure fluctuations throughout the station. Nothing dangerous. Mind you, just enough to trigger your security sensors randomly. She produced a small tool and began making adjustments to the wall panel. There we go. Should stop those pesky false alarms you have been having. As if on cue, The security alarm stopped blaring. Remarkable coincidence, I said dryly. Is it not? Riley beamed. I love it when problems solve themselves. Captain Martinez was watching this exchange with obvious amusement. Riley, dear, perhaps you should introduce yourself properly to our hosts. Oh, right. Riley straightened up and gave a little bow. Riley Thompson, Systems Integration Specialist. Thompson Solutions LLC. We specialize in, well, solving problems that other people did not know they had. And how exactly did you get clearance to work on a secure Galactic Council station? I demanded. Riley reached into her coveralls and produced a data pad. Standard contractor authorization, processed through your procurement department 6 weeks ago. Everything completely legitimate and above board. I grabbed the pad and scanned through the documentation. It was all there. Proper forms, correct authorization codes, appropriate security clearances, a perfectly normal maintenance contract for environmental system upgrades. Except for one tiny detail. This contract was approved by someone named Administrator K. Human, I said. Yep, we do not have any administrators named K. Human. Riley looked genuinely surprised. Really? Huh. That is weird. Maybe it was a typo. You know how bureaucracy is. It's a typo. Happens all the time. I once got a contract to install coffee makers in the Andromeda Senate building because someone misspelled defensive barriers. Mix-ups happen. I was starting to get a headache. Riley, exactly how long have you been working on our station? Oh, about 3 weeks now. Like I said, mostly night shifts. Your security team is very professional, by the way. They barely noticed me at all. They barely noticed you. Well, I stay out of the way. Plus, your night supervisor, Jenkins, is super helpful. Always willing to let me into restricted areas when I explain that the environmental controls run through the whole station. We do not have a night supervisor named Jenkins. Riley paused in her work. Are you sure? Tall guy, blue tentacles, really knows his way around security protocols. I looked at QX3. She looked back at me. We both looked at Dr. Clicks, who was staring at his medical scanners like they had personally offended him. Riley, Captain Martinez said gently, perhaps you should show them your work. Oh, absolutely. Riley's face lit up. I am really proud of what we have accomplished here. Want to see. Before anyone could object, she led us out of the medical bay and down the corridor. The humans followed in a casual group, still maintaining that tourist-like demeanor. But now I noticed things I had missed before. The way they moved in formation without seeming to coordinate. How they naturally positioned themselves to cover all angles of approach. The fact that their casual conversations were actually status reports delivered in code. So, Riley chatted as we walked. The original environmental system was pretty standard. Atmospheric recycling, temperature control, artificial gravity maintenance. But it had some interesting inefficiencies. We turned a corner, and I saw something that made my heart skip several beats. There were humans everywhere. Not many. Maybe a dozen. But they were scattered throughout the corridor, all wearing various station uniforms. Maintenance, food service, cleaning crew, administrative support. They nodded politely as we passed, went about their business with professional efficiency. Riley, I said faintly, how many humans are currently aboard this station? Oh, just our little diplomatic team, Captain Martinez replied smoothly. And the maintenance contract personnel, Riley added. And the food service consultants, said a human pushing a cart of what appeared to be perfectly normal station rations. And the cultural exchange students, mentioned another human who was apparently studying our library systems. And the trade representatives, called out a human examining cargo manifests in the freight bay. I stopped walking. Exactly how many humans are on my station? Riley pulled out a small notepad and began counting on her fingers. Well, there is the diplomatic team, that is 5. The maintenance crew, that is 8. Food service, that is 6. Cultural exchange, that is 12. Trade representatives, that is 9. The archaeological survey team, that is 15. The medical research consultants, that is 7. Stop. I said weakly. Just stop. About 73, Riley concluded cheerfully. Give or take a few. Some of the teams overlap. 73 humans have been living on my station. And nobody noticed? We are very unobtrusive, Captain Martinez said modestly. Riley nodded enthusiastically. Plus, we have been improving efficiency wherever we go. Check this out. She led us to a maintenance panel and opened it with practiced ease. See this? Your original life support system was running at about 60% capacity due to design limitations. She pointed to various components that had clearly been modified. We upgraded the atmospheric processors, optimized the power distribution networks, improved the water recycling systems, and enhanced the structural integrity monitoring. You modified our life support systems without authorization, Keeks 3 said, her voice rising an octave. Oh, we had authorization, Riley assured her. From Administrator K. Human, remember? Who does not exist. Well, he existed when we needed him to. I felt reality sliding away from me like water through my manipulator appendages. Riley, are you telling me that you created a fictional administrator to approve your own work orders? Riley looked genuinely offended. Of course not. That would be completely unethical. We simply helped Administrator K. Human come into existence when the bureaucratic situation required it. How do you help someone come into existence? Very carefully, Captain Martinez interjected, and with proper paperwork. Dr. Clicks, who had been quietly scanning the modified systems with his equipment, looked up with an expression of pure bewilderment. These modifications, they are not just improvements. They are architectural marvels. Your people have essentially rebuilt our entire infrastructure while making it look like routine maintenance. We like to be thorough, Riley said proudly. But why? I demanded. Why go to all this trouble? What do you want? Captain Martinez and Riley exchanged glances. Then Captain Martinez smiled that same polite, innocent smile she had been wearing all day. Want? We do not want anything. Vex 9, we already have everything we need, which is what, exactly? Your trust. The words hung in the air like a challenge. I felt my paranoia sensors going completely haywire. But there was something in her tone that made me pause. Our trust. Bon. Think about it, Captain Martinez said, settling into what appeared to be a casual lean against the wall. We could have approached the Galactic Council with a show of force, but you did not. Did not, no. Instead, we spent 6 months learning about you, your cultures, your fears, your needs. We identified problems you did not even know you had, and we solved them. We made your lives. Riley nodded enthusiastically. Your atmospheric systems were a disaster waiting to happen. There were one cascade failure, and you would have lost life support to 3 entire sectors. Now you have triple redundancy and automatic emergency protocols. Your food distribution network had 17 critical bottlenecks, added the human with the ration cart, who had apparently been eavesdropping. We streamlined the whole system, reduced waste by 40% and improved nutritional content. Your library cataloging system was using a filing protocol that would have collapsed under its own complexity within 2 years, called out the cultural exchange student. We implemented a scalable database architecture that can handle exponential growth. I looked around at the humans scattered throughout the corridor. They were all watching us now, their work temporarily forgotten, and every single one of them was smiling. You have been preparing, I said slowly. We have been helping. Captain Martinez corrected. There is a difference. There is a difference. Is there? Vex 9. In the past 3 weeks, I thought about it. None. Well, except for today's false alarms, which we fixed. How many system failures? None. Equipment malfunctions? Supply shortages? Administrative errors? None. None. And none. Strange, is it not? Almost like someone was working very hard to make sure everything ran smoothly. The pieces were starting to come together in my mind, and I did not like the picture they were forming. You have been studying us. We have been learning from you, Riley said. There is a difference there too. And now you want to join the Galactic Council. Now we want to be part of the community, Captain Martinez said, There is a difference there as well. I felt like I was having this conversation in 3 different languages simultaneously. Captain, I need you to be very clear with me. Are humans a threat to the Galactic Council? She considered the question seriously. That depends entirely on how the Galactic Council chooses to treat humans. That sounds like a threat. No, Vex 9. That sounds like reality. Riley stepped forward, her expression suddenly serious. Look, we know what you are thinking. 73 humans infiltrated your most secure station without being detected. We have complete access to your infrastructure, detailed knowledge of your capabilities, and apparently unlimited ability to forge bureaucratic documentation. That is exactly what I am thinking. And you are right to think it. We could absolutely cause tremendous damage if we wanted to. But here is the thing. She gestured around the corridor. Look at what we actually did. I looked. Really looked. The corridors were cleaner than I had ever seen them. The air smelled fresher. The lighting was more even and comfortable. Equipment that had been showing wear and tear for months looked newly maintained. We fixed things, Riley continued. We made improvements. We solved problems. We made life better for everyone on this station. Because that is what humans do, Captain Martinez said simply. We see problems and we fix them. We see inefficiencies and we optimize them. We see communities and we try to become part of them by infiltrating them first. By proving ourselves worthy of them, she corrected. Anyone can demand membership in a club. We wanted to earn it. Though, Dr. Clicks looked up from his scanner again. Captain, my readings indicate that the structural improvements your people made have increased this station's defensive capabilities by approximately 300%. Correct. And the atmospheric modifications have made the environment safer and more comfortable for every species currently aboard. Also correct. And the administrative streamlining has reduced bureaucratic processing time by 60%. We were hoping for 70. But 60 is not bad for a first attempt. I stared at her. You made us stronger, more efficient, better defended. Why would you do that if you were planning to attack us? Captain Martinez laughed, and for the first time it sounded completely genuine. Vex 9, if we were planning to attack you, do you really think we would need to infiltrate your stations first? What do you mean? Riley pulled out her diagnostic scanner again. This little device? It is actually a multi-spectrum analysis tool, a quantum encryption communicator, a molecular fabricator, and if I adjust the settings just right, she made a few adjustments. A sonic pulse generator capable of producing precisely the resonance frequencies that would liquefy your exoskeleton. My stomach acids turned to ice. But I would never do that, Riley continued cheerfully. Because first, it would be incredibly rude, and second, you seem like a really nice person who is just trying to do his job. The point, Captain Martinez said, is that we do not need to infiltrate, spy, or sabotage. If humans wanted to conquer the galaxy, we would have done it already. What we want is much more complicated, which is friends. Kamas, the word hung in the air like a foreign concept, which I suppose it was. Friends, I repeated. Friends. Allies. Partners. People to learn from and teach in return. People to help when they need it. And who might help us when we need it? Riley nodded enthusiastically. Plus, honestly, the universe is a big, scary place. It'd be much more fun to explore it together than alone. I looked around at the humans scattered throughout the corridor. They were all watching this conversation with interest, but not concern, like they knew exactly how it was going to end. So, I said slowly, you spent 6 months learning about us, 3 weeks improving our facilities, and created an elaborate bureaucratic fiction to demonstrate that you could infiltrate and sabotage our infrastructure if you wanted to, but chose instead to make our lives better. Pretty much, yeah, Riley said. And now you want us to trust you. Now we want you to trust us, Captain Martinez agreed. Based on what evidence? She gestured around the corridor. Based on the evidence of what we actually did when we had the opportunity to do anything we wanted. I thought about this. Really thought about it. The paranoid part of my brain was screaming warnings about elaborate deceptions and long-term manipulation strategies. But the analytical part was pointing out that these humans had already demonstrated more consideration for our well-being than most council members showed for each other. Kix 3, I said finally. What is your assessment? My partner had been unusually quiet throughout this entire conversation. Now she looked around at the improved corridor, the smiling humans, the diagnostic readings showing enhanced station performance across the board. Honestly, I think we just got outmaneuvered by the most polite invasion force in galactic history. Riley brightened. Oh, we prefer to think of it as an extremely thorough job application. Captain Martinez chuckled. Though polite invasion force has a nice ring to it, we should put that on our business cards. And that, ladies and gentlemen of the Galactic Council, is how humanity joined our organization. It's not through demonstrations of military might or diplomatic maneuvering, but by quietly making themselves indispensable while we were not paying attention. The final evaluation report was the shortest in Council history. It read, in its entirety, recommend immediate acceptance. They are already here anyway. And they fixed our air conditioning. 3 months later, human consultants were working on infrastructure projects across 17 Council worlds. 6 months after that, the Galactic Council's efficiency ratings had improved by an average of 400%, and member species were reporting the highest quality of life in recorded history. And whenever anyone asks how the humans managed to integrate so seamlessly into galactic civilization, I tell them the truth. They did not conquer us, they did not out-negotiate us, and they certainly did not overwhelm us with superior technology. They simply walked into our lives, fixed everything that was broken, and asked politely if they could stay. Who could say no to that? Well, except for the Bloraxians. But they declared war on the humans because they mistranslated "how can we help" as a mating ritual. Some things never change.